It's your man with only one kid, Retro Neoness, and Zelda Hat Guy here, back with a long-awaited episode of Saved by the Game. Zelda Hat Guy, how you doing, my friend?
Man, pretty good. We've tried to upgrade the quality a little bit, make it look somewhat semi-professional, like we know what we're doing. So yeah, hopefully this turns out pretty good, man.
Oh yeah.
So got a lot to talk about, man. A lot going on in the world of video games. We just had what 3 showcases from all 3 big heavy hitters. We're gonna
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit. 2023 is huge, gonna be huge for video games. So
it's already huge.
it's already huge, and we're
It-
only halfway done. So
I'm at a point right now where I'm like, damn, I can't do this. I need somebody to take a break
I
with
need them to slow
releasing
down.
them. Like I
Yeah,
can't do it because I'm looking up. Like I haven't had this many pre-orders for games in years.
same. Yeah, same. I mean, it's crazy because this is the I can't think of a year where we've got this many follow-ups to long-running franchises,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Zelda, Final Fantasy, Street Fighter, Diablo, and now Mario, a new Mario game coming this year.
RPG, yeah.
Yeah, new IP from Bethesda. But
Hmm.
just June alone has been too much. Like Street Fighter came out, and then Diablo came out, and Final Fantasy 16 is sitting here next to me,
Yeah, sitting
and
over here. Yeah.
I played through that demo, and I'm like, I'm not playing this until I'm good and ready because I won't be playing anything else while I'm playing that. So
Yeah. Man, oh man,
it's crazy.
I still haven't even touched Breath of the Wild yet. And literally I went golfing with some work buddies on Monday, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, Elliot, I know you're a big gamer, bro. I know you're a huge gamer. You got that Breath of the Wild?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I haven't even started it yet." He's
Oh, Tears of the Kingdom, the
Oh
new
yeah, I'm
one.
tripping.
I
My
thought it was the
bad.
old one.
I'm like,
Yeah,
wait a minute. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the
For
Kingdom. Yeah,
God, slap in the face. No, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. He's like, man, I got 90 plus hours in the game. I can't wait to get home and play the game. It's game of the year. It's the best Zelda game of all time. I was like, dang, really? He's like, yeah, man, I love that game. And I'm like, that's great, man. I'm like, right now, like what? I beat Jedi Survivor, which was pretty solid. It was pretty
it's on my
solid.
list, but again, it's on a long backlog of
I,
games.
I told myself, I was like, look, I gotta beat this. I gotta get it out of the way because I know it was gonna be a minute for me to come back to it. So I knocked that out. Street Fighter 6 got 2.5 seconds of my time before Diablo 4. Mind you, Diablo 4 is my first Diablo game in the series, right? Game's so damn good, y'all, that not only did I buy the digital deluxe edition on my Xbox, but I also bought a sealed standard copy on PS5 and got the steel case and sent that off to CGC, which is already on the way back from getting graded because, like, I have come to the conclusion now, if the game is badass, I'm going to go and just buy a sealed copy and send it to get graded now. If it's that good of a game to me, that's my new thing. Like if it's not good, if the game's trash, it's gone. It's gone. It's out of there. It's out of there. We're not
Yeah,
getting none of that. You don't get the the treatment. You don't get the acrylic cases with the big numbers and letters on the top of it. You don't get that. You don't get that action from me. But I mean, what you were playing Tears of the Kingdom for,
yeah. I have like 175 hours in that game. I
man, you're
took
not
off
even
work.
done, son.
No, I've just been like messing around in it. Like I meant to go and beat it before Diablo came out, and then Diablo came out. We've just been playing that, so I need to go back and at least beat it, and then maybe I'll go back and finish some side stuff later. But I need to do that before I play Final Fantasy 16. So
I I'm not ready to play anything else right now.
yeah, Diablo's kind of got you hooked, man. I'm happy that you liked it because I thought you would. I've been like hyping it up so much, but like I think you
Yeah.
really like this game. So I was kind of like really nervous. I'm like, man, I hope he likes this game. And I haven't just been talking all this noise for 2 months, and he's like, this is trash. Like I don't know why you like this, but I'm happy that you like it. I
I
thought you would, so I feel like I
Well,
know you well enough. So
it it's very it is very much in my alleyway for like not I wouldn't call it a looter shooter, but very Destiny esque,
yeah,
Warframe esque in ways. Like Destiny and Warframe are more the shooters, run and gun, loot them up and shoot them up kind of stuff. But the the mechanics behind having multiple abilities, having different varieties of gear. I mean, the gear itself is not so much as a change, but it's the perks and the
Yeah,
percentages of that gear and the synergizing of your skill tree, and then you've got a whole brand new tree or paragon board that just takes you down this massive rabbit hole of
yeah,
millions of different possibilities that you could create your character to become the most OP character of all time and cause insane amount of damage. But I am a noob when it comes to the game. So, I'm level 70 right now. I'm definitely putting some time in. I find myself playing it in my downtime a lot, and I really need to be investing some time in Street Fighter 6.
yeah. No, it's one of those games. It always gives you that dopamine hit of always getting
Yeah,
new loot. Like,
yeah,
oh, there's loot. Oh, it's a
yeah,
legendary. Oh, so I thought you would like it, and I'm glad you're enjoying it because it's a
yeah,
fun game. It's one of those games that you could just put down and come back and play anytime you want. You'll never feel like you're lost or behind.
yeah.
'Cause I did that with Diablo 3. I'd put Diablo 3 down for months, then I'd come back and just play through a season. Put it down for more months, come back, play through a season. So I'm excited. I'm very excited that you like it. So
Appreciate it.
yeah, man. So we had some showcases almost back to back to back, man. We had PlayStation, then Microsoft, and then was it this week was Nintendo. So
Nintendo. I mean, you had some developer showcases in there. You had
mhm,
Capcom, Ubisoft.
yeah,
Um,
I missed the Ubisoft one unfortunately. But
you
I did
really
see
didn't miss it.
PlayStation.
You didn't miss it.
Yeah, I saw PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, and I saw the Capcom one too, and I wasn't super
Capcom
impressed
was
by the Capcom one.
trash. Yeah.
But I thought we'd at least talk about the big three, right, a
Yeah.
little bit, and kind of talk over, what we saw, what we liked, who we think really brought it this year, and then in the big showcases. Since Sony went first, man, let's talk about Sony's PlayStation. So the big thing out of that was Spider-Man, right? I think that was their big, you know,
Yeah.
their big one-two punch. I have it pulled up here about everything that got announced, so we can go ahead and show you that.
Yeah.
All right, kind of give
Spider-Man,
us a
what it was
reminder.
like, what, 10, 12 minutes long of gameplay, the first portion of the
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yep.
Um, yeah, right there where you've got it plugged
Yep.
right there.
Right
The
there. Yep.
top, those were the top two games on my list right there. And yeah, Snake Eater remake. I would have actually preferred if it was actually Metal Gear Solid, the first one from PS1.
Yeah.
I They would have won. They would have
I would
won the showcase had it been the first Metal Gear
really
Solid.
interesting.
Yes.
'Cause I personally, now this may sound like sacrilege to you because I know
No,
which one of these games is your favorite, but I personally think that Snake Eater is the best of that trilogy.
no.
Personally,
I
it's really
hated
good.
Snake Eater. I hated it.
Oh,
And
bro.
I played Sons of Liberty like 20 times. I absolutely loved Sons of Liberty.
I did too. I did too. People boo boo faced about Raiden, but
I
I thought it was a great game.
Yeah, and if Snake had been in the entire game as, the protagonist to play instead of just a tanker mission,
Yeah.
oh, by far, it'd have been the best one. But yeah, it is what it is. I was actually kind of surprised by Sony during this showcase because, yeah, I mean, Spider-Man looked amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
I gave it a solid 7 out of 10 in terms of, I mean, 6.5, 7 out of 10 for the showcase, just because they added a lot more indie games that I'm normally accustomed to.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. Yeah. I There was a game I think it was called like Towers of Agazba. It looked like Breath of the Wild. The
Yeah,
guy had a
yeah,
hang glider and all that. I thought it
yeah,
was really
yeah.
interesting. They would go that way. A lot of stuff for PSVR 2, which looked good. Resident Evil looked good, but it's gonna. It really just depends on if you're into VR and if you have a PSVR 2.
I,
Um,
yeah, you lost me at the VR piece just because I get
yeah.
motion sickness. I'm
Mm,
not gonna pop Dramamine or take a patch or anything like that to play a game. Like, there's very few games that I build a tolerance for. Like Halo was one. I built a
Mm.
motion sickness tolerance to the game to where I didn't get sick anymore playing the game. But VR is just a whole different beast, just in itself. Like 5-10 minutes in a VR, and I'm done for the evening.
Yeah. Was the Avatar game part of the PlayStation one, or was Ubisoft's, right?
That was
Avatar.
Ubisoft's. Yeah,
Okay, because I wasn't sure if that was coming to every all
I
platforms or
believe that's
not.
all platform. That's all
Okay.
platform. Um,
Um. So a couple of Final Fantasy 16, of course, got its launch trailer there, which I thought looked good. I don't know if you got a chance to play the demo, but
I didn't. I
the
didn't.
demo is the demo was incredible. The demo made me go, okay, when this game comes out, I really need to like put some time
Dedicate.
aside to
Yeah,
just play this game.
yeah,
So,
yeah. That is my
um,
plan. I do plan on definitely investing some time in it. Like when I went to GameStop to pick up my copy, mine
mhm,
was out the door today.
yeah, yeah.
I was
I
surprised.
had a feeling it. It's interesting because this Final Fantasy has such a different feel and like theme,
It's
right? Playing
mature.
through play through the demo. I mean, they're dropping f bombs.
Yeah.
Like the characters aren't cartoony at all. They're
No.
very, believable. Normally, Final Fantasy, tends to have like an angsty teenager as kind of your
Yeah.
protagonist,
Yeah.
but not this guy. Like he's very much your hardened, soldier, and you're playing through different decades in his life.
Oh,
So it's a really interesting. I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic with the main character. So I'm excited. It's a very much a people who are listening to this will know what I'm saying. It's very much a Yoshi P game. Like Yoshi P was the guy who brought back, basically saved Final Fantasy 14, turned it around
oh,
from being a terrible
yeah.
MMO to like one of the best MMOs in the market. And it has very much kind of strands of his game style in it, which I think is great. And so I'm very excited for that one. One thing that I wanted to ask you about, what did you think about Marathon? Did you see?
It didn't move me.
Nah. It, it was one of the first games that Bungie made originally, was Marathon, I think, back like in the 90s. So I thought it was interesting that they were going to go back to that for their new IP. Because there's been in talks of them working on a new IP,
Yeah, for years. Yeah.
while they're winding down Destiny 2. Um, so I was kind of surprised that it was Marathon. I thought that maybe it would be something else, but
I was hoping. I guess maybe the color schemes were kind of throwing me off a little
yeah,
bit. Like I just it it there wasn't anything that just drove me to say, "Ooh, this looks really cool to play." It looked
mm,
very it gave me kind of a blend of Apex and
yeah,
Destiny and Fortnite, and it kind of just it mixed a little bit just visually to me. It gave me that kind of vibe, and I don't know. The way Destiny 2 is right now, I mean, there's a lot of content creators out there that aren't happy with the way the game is
yeah,
currently. Um if they end up driving a lot of what they're doing in Destiny 2 in terms of microtransactions, etc., into that game, I don't think it's going to be very well received.
yeah. I agree, and what Ness is alluding to is Destiny 2 has always had microtransactions, and I think that microtransactions are fine. I know that
Yeah,
oftentimes,
yeah.
people hear the words DLC and microtransactions, they immediately get their pitchforks out and want to go hunt down the developer. But
No, not hunt down. I'm not hunting anybody
well,
down.
not hunting, but
Yeah, yeah,
figuratively,
yeah.
right?
I was pointing at myself, and then you said hunt down somebody.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Like, hold up. Like, I'm not trying to be on a watch list. Yeah, no. Get a restraining order from Bungie. No, it's more of cosmetic microtransactions for cosmetics. I think is fine
I'm perfectly cool with that. Like Warframe
because
does it really good.
yeah, and I feel
Amazing.
like Destiny did it pretty good as well. But you know, lately I haven't played Destiny in a while. Neither one of us have. But it's again, I still try to follow the content creators that I like that make content for Destiny. And even though I'm not playing Destiny, I'm kind of over it now.
Yeah.
It's still a game that I have fond memories of, and I
Oh yeah.
want the game to be successful because I know there still has a great audience, and it's a game that both of us loved for a lot of years. So
Loved it. Loved it.
I want it to be successful, but the route that they're going, I definitely understand some frustrations. There was a video by a content creator that we both follow, Aztec Ross, and he dropped a video recently talking about some of the changes that he's not happy with. So I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Don't blame him at all. So
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you brought up Aztec because Dado actually did a a review video on that video.
oh yeah,
He ended
yeah.
up like, yeah, like this is what the state of the game is. And funny enough, we have a lot of Destiny players moving over to Diablo now,
Hmm.
right? So it's the new hotness in terms of loot and mods and all that stuff. If Marathon wants to be a to take the reins and be a really really good contender for the top game, and I don't even know what kind of game it is really at this point.
It's an extraction shooter, I believe. A PvP extraction shooter similar to like Escape from Tarkov. I don't know if you've heard much about Escape from Tarkov, but you
No.
basically have to like. I think somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. You have to kind of like extract loot and gear and get it out or whatever. I wonder. I'm still on their page. I wonder if they actually talk about what Marathon actually is.
I mean, that was
Uh,
another thing in there too, right? The only real heavy duty gameplay footage we got to see was of Spider-Man. Like
yeah,
there's a lot of CG trailers in the showcase. Um I would have liked to have seen that. I would have actually liked to have seen an update on Knights of the Old Republic, considering that they have another studio taking the reins on that. I would have liked to have seen something about that as well, but
yeah. Looking a bit at Marathon. Marathon's just a PvP only game. It's all PvP. There's no single player aspect to it. So
no story, no nothing.
mm-mm. It's just a PvP game.
So that
So
gives me very Apex vibes.
yeah. They also announced a new Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed Mirage looked okay,
Yeah, I mean,
but
it looked good.
it looked
Don't get me wrong, it
okay.
looked all right. But
Um,
I'm a little burnt on Assassin's Creed at this point.
yeah, I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
Yeah,
and I started playing. No, sorry, I played Odyssey for a decent amount of time, and then I started playing Valhalla. And there comes a point where a game could just be too big, and Valhalla really kind of flirted with that line. Not Valhalla, sorry, Odyssey. I haven't played enough of Valhalla to really make that determination about that game, but it definitely Odyssey definitely flirted with the line of just being way too much um, to do in a game. Like, oh my gosh, that's insane.
like wait, hold on. Like you telling me that your only con in the game is that there was too much game?
Well, so there is a such thing as like too much game, right?
Like you
Like,
want to get through it and you want to actually beat it.
yeah.
Okay,
So having to like being able to put 150 hours or 200 hours in a game because you want to is fine.
different from a game that you're just trying to
Yeah,
complete.
yeah. Then
Yeah,
like you like, oh my goodness, it was a lot. And a lot of the stuff it felt really repetitive also. So that kind of turned me off from it. But
makes sense. Makes sense.
Mirage looks kind of like a throwback to like the original Assassin's Creeds, which was a lot more of a contained story. You're pretty much
Mhm.
contained to a city in the original Assassin's Creeds, I think, if I remember correctly. So I kind of
Makes
like that they're going back to that. Speaking of Destiny, they also dropped the final shape trailer for the final Destiny
Didn't
expansion.
even watch it.
I
I've
watched it.
watched
It looks
I've watched
great.
it looks I mean like
It looks great.
all the ones prior to that look great. I'm like I am what we how long have we played Destiny for? How
I
many years?
mean, almost 10 years. I mean, we played
Yeah.
2014 to,
Yeah. So
now.
I mean I can count this year because I have played Destiny this year, and that was earlier this year. But other than that, I I'm not going back to the game. Like I've invested more than enough.
Yeah.
Not hours, right? At this point, right? Accumulatively, it's days that I've put into that game.
Yeah. Same.
Numerous, like no, not days. I'm sorry, weeks,
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
I've invested in that game. Like you look at my time played in that game on Xbox, and it's
Oh,
over
yeah, bro. It's a
100 it's
lot.
over 165 days. Like that's
Yeah.
almost, you're talking about a little bit over half a year's worth of time invested in one game, y'all. One
Mhm.
game. So it's not a matter of like the reason why I stopped playing the game is just like it just there comes a time where you can only drop so many seasonal reskinned challenges of the same gun that drop
Mm.
1,000 times, some seasonal light bright armor that does nothing for you, and then recycling the same raids over and over again.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think that it's one of those things where like all good things come to an end.
Yeah,
Eventually, you just move on.
yeah,
It was a lot of people say the same thing about things like World of Warcraft, or
yeah.
you just eventually just move on from
You
it.
just
I
move
think
on.
that's just where we're at with
Yeah.
Destiny. We'll always have a soft spot for it,
Oh, of
just because
course, of
of
course.
how excited we were. It was one of those games that it's on a very small list of games that I was just so extremely excited about. So I wish Bungie well with Destiny. I don't see myself going back to it anytime soon. I mean, maybe for the final shape to play through the campaign, see how it ends.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I probably see myself doing that,
yeah,
like just to
but
see the ending.
investing the amount of time that we like we used to, I definitely don't see myself doing that. But shouts out to the people that are still sticking with Destiny, and I hope that I hope that it still brings you the joy that it brought us. So
Mm-hmm.
that's,
Yep.
I mean, really kind of the high points of the PlayStation showcase. I mean, there was a couple of hack and slashes. There was like a Grand Blue Fantasy, some other stuff that I thought looked kind of interesting. But other than that, I mean, the high points were really Spider-Man, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, um, and that was, I mean, that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
Stuff that looked okay, but it's like, not to say those are one or two things that were good, but the really high points that
yeah,
had people talking were definitely those two things. So, um, then not too long after that, we had the Xbox showcase,
yeah,
which, oops, sorry, I was pleasantly surprised at Xbox. I felt like they had really been lagging behind with stuff that they were coming with. But let's kind of look over some of the stuff that they kind of brought here. So, Avowed, which I think looks interesting. It
yep.
does remind me a lot of like it does have a lot of Skyrim vibes to it.
It did look very Skyrim like.
Yeah, but one of the really big things, which I'm surprised it wasn't the first thing they talk about on this website, was Fable.
Well,
Coming back.
they threw Fable in there at the very beginning of the showcase and said, "Hey, it's coming. Boom, peace."
Yeah, yeah,
And I mean, I think everybody lost it like just right there. That was like the hook, line, and sinker that drew the entire crowd in. Like the entire. I mean, I was watching on IGN, right? Or no, was I watching IGN? Yeah, and or actually was it Xbox? Whichever showcase. I mean, some
right,
bullshit,
yeah.
right? But the chat was just blowing up. Like, oh my god, Fable, finally! They're finally listening. Oh my gosh. And then there was some people like Xbox already won. I'm like, wait, hold on, timeout, timeout. I'm like, Fable's a good game. Don't get me wrong. But it's not beating Spider-Man 2. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Yeah, and Fable's kind of had a tumultuous history, right? Like the first game was really good, and the second game was fine, and then the third game I did not care for.
Yeah.
But Peter Molyneux, who was the original guy behind Fable, he would always promise all this stuff, and it just wouldn't be in the game. So hopefully they're moving away from that, and they're just going to be like, hey, this is what the game is. No more, no less. This is where we're at. Um, I'm really hoping that that's the case with this game. So,
Yeah.
what else did we have? we we finally kind of got a little bit more for Hellblade 2,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
yeah,
It
I
was all
mean,
right.
I Hellblade 1 was like a sleeper hit for me. I played through it on Game Pass, and I highly recommend it. I recommend it even though it's not going to be for everyone, but I do think that it's worth a playthrough. I was very surprised by how like the game quality and how good it was.
So
What
I
else
don't
did
look
we
like
get
they.
here?
We had a whole lot more than that, but
Yeah, we
trying to
did.
remember. Ah, man, it was the. It looked like it was straight out of French Princess and the Frog, the game. I can't remember the name of it. It was like the Two Shades of Midnight, something like that.
Oh yeah, that was Yeah, yeah. They just showed kind of a teaser for it. Didn't really
Yeah,
give any
if that looked
gameplay.
surprising, I don't know why that looked interesting to me. Oh, so you're looking at the extended. So this was the second
Yep,
showcase.
I'm over here messing up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe it's this one. Oh goodness, holy! None of my CSS loaded. Batman. What the hell? Okay, let's see what else. Let's just go to IGN here. So we got Fable
Yeah.
from Playground Games, which is an actual different developer than has worked on the past Fable
Yeah.
games. I was kind of surprised that like Cyberpunk's not an Xbox exclusive, really, but um,
And
I
they
definitely
even
will revisit Cyberpunk. I think when this comes out.
I mean, the fact that they brought Keanu Reeves back to continue to
Yeah,
reprise the role was kind of cool, but I mean, Starfield, they had a whole direct right after that. It looks extremely immersive.
yeah,
I didn't do a lot of research on Starfield. I mean, I'd heard tons of people talking about it, right? Like, oh, Starfield's got to be the game. That's got to be the game that's going to bring Xbox back on top because we can't have another Redfall. We can't have another one of those. And
yeah, very much. Oh my goodness, poor
I,
Redfall.
so I watched the direct and I looked at how much realism they had brought to a space related game, of course, but
Yeah,
in terms of detail and customizations and what you can do and how realistic it was, I was like, okay, you know what? I am gonna go ahead and pick up this collector's edition
yeah.
and pick up the good old controller because I think this game might be good. Now, it's not multiplayer or
No,
anything, but
no.
the fact that, like, when he said thousands of planets with an S, y'all, thousands.
Yeah, but one thing that people are kind of worried about, and I get why they're worried about this. So, are you
30
familiar?
FPS.
Well, not even that. We'll talk about that here in a second. But it's people are afraid it's going to be another like No Man's Sky at
I
launch,
hope it's not.
right? And No Man's Sky at launch was awful. They've done a great job of recovering, but we live in an era now where you have a very small window. There's
Gotta do
so many
right the first
games
time.
coming out, you have to really get it right the first time. Bethesda has such a loyal fan base that I think that you guys talked about it. You guys talked about it a bit on Right Ways podcast that Bethesda kind of gets a little bit of goodwill more than other developers. They kind of get the ability to kind of release a buggy game, and like the bugs are just kind of a meme, right? All the Fallout 4 bugs were a meme, and it was riddled with bugs, but everyone still played it because it's a good game. It's just buggy. So I don't. It wouldn't surprise me if Starfield is not without its bugs, but the 30 FPS thing, if it helps the performance, I'm okay with it. It lets us have those really good graphics and visuals. Then I'm okay with it.
And that's where I was going with it. Like the amount of game, the capacity of that game, the amount of
Yeah,
stuff that's inside doesn't make I mean, yeah, I mean, of course the hardcores are going to say like, well, 60 FPS is the best way to play. Gotta have it. I'm like, dude, we were doing far less than that 5-8 years ago.
yeah, and I mean,
I mean,
art direction can kind of cover up low frame rate, right? Like Tears of the Kingdom is 30 FPS, but you don't notice it because the art
nobody's
direction is
yeah,
so good, like the art
exactly.
style. So
Like if it's smooth, it's rendered right, we're not going to have any, you're not even going to notice it, right? Because you're going to
yeah,
be so immersed in the universe, literally, and that's what it's going to be. But the game itself can't drop with an enormous amount of bugs. It's got to be done right. So
yeah,
I would hope that if they do release it and it's not ready, then you need to postpone. You need to
and they
hold
already
on.
have once.
I know.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of ways Bethesda is kind of aware because Fallout 76, even though Fallout 76 has come a long way and it's actually a pretty solid game now, it's kind of too late. You know what I mean? If the game would have launched the way it is now, it would have gotten rave reviews. People would
Oh
still
yeah.
be talking about that game to this day. But I think they really have to make sure that Starfield is everything they say it is, and I think that they're pretty confident in it. because they've given us a lot of gameplay. They've shown a lot of gameplay.
They have.
They've
They have.
talked about a lot. The Discord is really active. They're pretty active in that Discord also. So I think that I'm excited for it. I think that it's going to be, even if it is buggy, it's a Bethesda game. They're great storytellers. They're really great at just getting you to drop hundreds of hours in a game. I mean, I bought Skyrim on so many different platforms. It's embarrassing. So I don't doubt that I will enjoy Starfield and that we'll get great reviews, but
Well,
we'll have to see.
hopefully we'll like I'm looking forward just to see like all the stuff that they put in this box because
Oh yeah,
it's a $300 collector's edition. I was like, dang, like y'all want the big bucks for this. And I'm like, I mean, I
that's
know it's got like a watch. It has like this
yeah.
massive watch, which looks dope.
It
So
hooks to your phone. Apparently, it syncs to your
yeah,
phone.
yeah. I'm
It's
like,
like
yo, what?
what?
I'm
Yeah,
like, man, don't have me out here wearing no Starfield
You'll
watch instead of my
yeah,
iWatch, bro. Like,
yeah.
what? I'm gonna be representing another watch out here. Oh, it's gonna be clean. But
Yeah, collector's editions are getting crazy now, though. I mean, the Final Fantasy 16 one was like 375. It was some after tax and shipping and all that because I got it directly from
whoa,
Square Enix. Yeah, it was
whoa,
a couple of dollars, but it's
oh,
Final Fantasy, and
oh.
I went all out for Final Fantasy 7 remake, and I was going to do the same for this one. You don't get a new Final Fantasy all the time, right? The last one we got was in 2015.
Well, I
So
all I could get was a deluxe edition, so that's all I got.
yeah,
Uh,
I think the collectors had to come directly from Square Enix's website.
I think it's the same with what that new Star Ocean,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I went on there today thinking I was going to get a collector's edition, sold out.
yep, yeah.
They even brought back the standard like pre-orders back up, and that's all they had was the
Dang.
standard. That's for all consoles, Switch, PS4, and 5.
Mm. I missed it. Yeah, I'm kind of salty that I missed that, but
I mean,
yeah,
the standard editions are still up, but I would have preferred a collector's edition.
I would like a collector's edition of
Yeah.
Star Ocean. I played Star Ocean: The Second Story as a kid, on PlayStation One, so I I'm very very fond of that game. I think I still have my copy of it from when I was a kid. What else we got from Xbox? So we had Starfield, which was
Yep.
pretty sweet.
Yep.
I'll just go ahead and reshare the thing here. This kind of made me laugh,
The black Xbox Series S.
but it's got 1 terabyte of storage, as if 1 terabyte of storage is a lot of storage in 2023.
It's not.
It's really
Hell,
not.
I'm over here struggling. I've got a 4 terabyte external hard drive, and I gotta figure out what I want to do. If I gotta transfer stuff over to the external just to
Yep.
play the more up to date stuff. But hell, when you've got games that are sucking up half of the storage or more, and that's just one game,
Yeah.
we gotta the storage thing has got to change, man. That goes for Xbox and Sony both. Like
Yeah.
y'all, like
Yeah.
making us go out here and pay for all this extra nonsense. Like, and Xbox is increasing their price on their Xboxes as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I know Sony did theirs like a year ago. They did their price increase, all that stuff, but Xbox didn't do it then. A lot of people would probably say that where's the justification in a price increase? Because I don't see it, right?
Right.
Because we don't have the games. We saw the showcase. Showcase looked good. Don't get me wrong.
Showcase does look good.
But got to get the games in hand and we got to play them first before we can give that verdict.
Very true. I agree with you 100% about the storage thing. It's to the point where I kind of have to, for games that are Xbox, most games that come on Xbox are also going to be on PC. So I kind of have to like decide, okay, is this a game that's going to get so many updates that eventually it's going to be a 200 gig install? If yes,
Ooh.
we're going to get it on PC. If it's going to stay pretty normal, then yeah, I could see getting it on Xbox. It really just depends, right? Like, so what I've been doing lately is I've been like watching the reviews and seeing how the performance is on PC. Like, for example, Jedi Survivor launched really terribly on PC, so I would have got it on Xbox.
Yep.
But if the PC reviews are good, it's a game that's going to get a lot of updates. I may go ahead and get it on PC. Thinking about getting Starfield on PC also for the first time. I normally play through most Bethesda games on my Xbox, and then I'll go back later and play through them again on PC with mods after the kind of the mod communities kind of had time to do their thing. So we'll see how Starfield goes. But one thing that I wish Xbox would do, So Xbox's storage is interesting because games that are, Xbox XS optimized they can't go on your external hard drive really. They
Nope.
have to go on that the way the Xbox's
Internal.
storage is, they have to go on the internal.
Yep.
And they sell memory expansion cards, but they're like $300 for like a terabyte or less. I was really hoping they were going to drop the price on those or come out with one that's like 2 terabytes for the same price. That's what I was really hoping they would do, but instead they gave us a 1 terabyte Xbox Series S, and I was like, bro,
I ain't
that's
listening.
not it. That's not it at all. So
Like, you can't tell me about any chip shortages like that. That conversation is
yeah, that's kind
void.
of done.
You
That's
know,
kind of done.
we've come out of the supply chain issues now. People are back at work, so it
Yeah, for sure.
uh,
What else we got?
yeah, yeah. South of Midnight.
South of Midnight.
That was it.
That looked interesting.
Yeah,
No gameplay, but I did think the trailer looked interesting.
yeah.
I was really, really impressed with this Star Wars Outlaws.
And
I was quite impressed with this.
we saw it first with
Yep.
Xbox, and then Ubisoft during their showcase they did some extra gameplay footage, etc. Um, it looks good.
It looks
Like,
good.
it's not a Jedi game, right? It's not gonna be swinging lightsabers and stuff like I like to do. Like I like to
Yeah,
do.
I feel like that's been done to death.
Yeah,
I love a good Jedi game, but I'm glad we're getting an open world Star Wars game that talks about kind of other aspects of Star Wars, right? I think that's kind of why I like the Mandalorian at first was such a good fresh of air and shows like Andor, because it was you get to see a different side of the galaxy, and I'm excited to see kind of where they take this story.
yeah.
I don't think there was a Star Wars game that got announced at the Video Game Awards last year, and I don't think this is the same game. I think that game is
This
still
is
yet
not
to
it.
come because
Well,
that game takes place from different perspectives of different people across the galaxy. The game that I'm thinking of.
yes,
Yeah.
and I don't even know. I don't know if it got. Star Wars games are really good about getting scrapped. Like really,
Yeah,
those
that's
get
true.
scrapped so quick, man. And
That's true.
when Lucasfilms and the bunny ears, not the bunny ears, the mouse get involved,
Yeah.
man, they and
Yeah.
rumor has it, Lucasfilms is talking about buying the franchise back from the mouse.
Yeah, I don't know if they have enough money to do that because Star Wars is making them so much money that that'd be a hard sell.
I'm pretty sure there's some kind of hidden stipulation where they still get some revenue from it.
For some kickbacks or royalties or something.
I'm
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
I'm sure.
We got a new Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, I saw that. Finally get to break out the old racing rig again for that
Yeah.
new one.
Forza. It's always kind of been tough for me. Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo. Um,
I'm a Forza guy, so
well, I'm a Forza Horizon guy, but as far as
Horizon's amazing.
yeah, but Motorsport's different. Motorsport's more of the Horizon's kind of like the RPG, which
Yeah,
Forza Horizon is amazing. Like this last one is so good,
it was really
but
good.
Forza Motorsport is the
Motorsport.
racing sim kind of
And
like Gran Turismo.
that's where I want to like, because I have this big ass racing rig over here, right? That right now is collecting dust, and I need a game, so that's gonna be it. Payday 3, I saw that.
Payday 3, yeah. So
There was
I've never been a big Payday guy. I've never played them, but it does
no,
have a pretty loyal fan base. So I know
it
a lot of people were very excited about
folks were
this.
super
Yeah.
happy about that. Persona was another one. I was surprised we're getting Persona on Xbox.
Yeah.
It's been heavy on PlayStation for years.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
never been a big Persona guy. I mean, I know, my brother-in-law, he's a big fan of Persona. So I'm pretty sure he was excited. Sea of Thieves, we played Sea of Thieves for a while. It was okay, but I don't know how the population in that game still is, but the Monkey Island thing looked cool. So if you're a big Sea of Thieves person, I thought this was definitely neat. This Microsoft Flight Simulator, like I've never
you know
played it, but my
the
god, does it look
the
gorgeous.
Doom flight ship that they
Yeah,
showed at the end looked dope.
that looks so
And
good.
like for all my folks out there that have like the racing rim sims and the rigs and all that stuff, they there's companies out there that are making the flight sims now, like the same chairs, and they've got, man, I'm telling you, that stuff
Well,
is, if I
yeah,
had the
man.
space, if I
Yeah.
had a bigger game room and I had like more space, I would so get like a full setup for flight
Mm.
and car, bro. It would be
Well,
dope.
what's interesting is people actually learned how to fly planes just by using
Yeah.
Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I thought was pretty wild to me.
It is that
Um,
realistic.
yeah, I'm excited about this. So, for those of you who may remember, when the Xbox Series X was revealed in 2019, the first trailer we got was for this game, was for Hellblade 2. Which honestly, that Hellblade 2 trailer was probably one of the dopest trailers I've seen. It's definitely up there on my top favorite video game trailers that I've ever seen. I thought this one was
Mm.
really good. Um, and that Fallout 76 going to Atlantic City again. If you're still playing Fallout 76, I think this looked good for an expansion for that game. It's good to see that Bethesda's not giving up on Fallout 76 for the people that are still playing it.
I gave up
It
on
looked
it.
good. I don't remember
Path of the
this game.
Goddess. It was like a horror themed game. I think I kind of
Oh, that's right.
I glazed over it just because I'm not big on horror games.
Yeah.
So, um,
ESO
yeah,
still going strong. Um,
yeah. Folks are saying they need a new one. They just need to do a new one.
I loved ESO. I still love ESO. I still catch myself, going back and dabbling here and there.
Oh,
So
I see you. I see you on
yeah, I
when I
still
pop
jump in
in.
every now and then. There was another interesting game that reminded me of BioShock, and I can't think of the name of it. It was like one of the last games they showed, but I can't think of the name of it. If somebody who watches this thinks of the name, throw it in the comments because I cannot remember the name. But overall, man, I would give the Xbox Showcase a solid 8 out of 10. I agree with you on
Ooh,
this. I agree with you on the 7 out of 10 for Sony. But you know what? I give Xbox the nod here. I think that they had a good variety of games.
yeah,
They showed us the games we want to see.
yeah.
They didn't hinge their entire showcase on one game. They gave us a good variety.
They didn't flood us with the whole indie. I mean, there were indie games. Don't get me wrong. And let me just put this out there. I have nothing against indie games at all. Like there are some phenomenal indie games out there, right?
Virtue?
Phenomenal, and I've played many of them. But we're we're at this crossroads right now where we got to have some AAA titles. That's across the
Yeah,
board. We need the
yeah,
AAA stuff to come from the big studios, right? Um, Xbox gave us just a crumb or two more this showcase than Sony did.
yeah,
Now, in terms of the game selection, right? Let's say if Sony had thrown in a game and a half, then easily they would have won the showcase.
yeah.
And it depends on who you're talking to, right? Because the folks that don't bang with Xbox, oh, PlayStation 1 all day. Xbox
Yeah,
fanboys are just like, look, at the
yeah.
end of the day, the console war thing that's just to bring in more sales, right? At the
Oh,
end of
for
the day,
sure.
I mess with both of these, Sony and Xbox and Microsoft, right? But let me talk about this one thing real quick. The Activision Blizzard
Yeah,
nonsense right now has brought up an interesting statement from Microsoft's point. I don't know if you saw the article about this. I was reading this today, right? So, of course, for those of you that haven't been keeping track, well, the FTC,
they blocked it, right?
they filed a lawsuit, right? They filed the suit. What? No, restraining or some kind of a block. Yeah, they blocked.
Yeah, they blocked the
They,
merger,
they
or the
blocked.
acquisition rather.
They blocked the merger right now, right? So, of course, it's an ongoing battle. But
Hmm.
Microsoft says, hey, look, we have lost the console wars. This was quoted coming from Microsoft that they've lost the console wars.
I mean,
So,
overall they
which
have.
which is
That's
true, right?
accurate.
Which is true.
Yeah.
They've been third for many years, right? Behind Nintendo and Sony
Hmm.
in that order. And Sony's pretty high up there, but right now, Nintendo's got it. In terms of console sales, Nintendo, Sony,
Yeah.
Xbox. That's what it is, right? So you have a statement like that, and we're like, okay, what's your justification of buying Activision Blizzard? Well, it could be one of a multitude of things. Well, their push is saying, hey, we've lost the console sales right now, but our goal in promoting the business is more boosting the sales of games. So that is their reasoning behind acquiring Activision Blizzard, is to create more games to generate business sales, not on the console side, not to monopolize the market in the console side. Well, Sony has also come out and said, hey, look, and and, and these are quoted and unquoted and nonsense. So I mean, for those of you out there like they
Yeah.
didn't say that, please go and do your due diligence. I'm just looking based off of the articles that I read today. You know how folks throw stuff out there quick and willy nilly, and then somebody comes back and says that's not true. That's not what they took my out of context and blah blah blah. No, it's not even that. So Sony was saying, and I'm ad libbing to a degree based off of this article,
Yeah.
that their major hiccup here is Call of Duty. That's why Sony's pissed, right? It's
Oh, yeah.
Call of Duty. So Activision Blizzard, they had that, boom, Call of Duty becomes this thing. And of course, Sony, I mean, Microsoft has said, like, hey, look, we're still going to have Call of Duty on PlayStation. Well, Sony doesn't see it that way.
Well,
They
Sony bought Bungie, and and
see
Destiny's still gonna.
exactly. Same thing, but Sony doesn't see it that way. They see it
Mm,
as a way to monopolize, like, okay, we're going to take Call of Duty as an exclusive moving forward, and Sony can't get it. And that's a huge hit to their revenue because that's one of their highest selling games on the console, right?
right. Yeah. That's
So,
fair. Yeah.
to that point, though, right? So then their flex is PlayStation 6. Well, if if Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, maybe Call of Duty doesn't play as well on the PlayStation 6.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it. But another thing, if we're just talking about from a revenue perspective, they want to. If they buy that studio, that means the game sales that happen on Sony's platform, they're going to get a piece of that. So you want to put this game on as many consoles as possible. You kind of have to pick your spots as far as exclusives. I would make any multiplayer games exclusive. I would try to put that on every platform I can,
Yes.
cross platform, because you're going to reach a larger audience. Some single player games, and that's kind of what Sony does, like your God of Wars, your Horizon.
Those I understand.
Yeah, you want to
Those
make
are
single player.
exclusives.
So like Starfield being exclusive, I get that, but it would not make business sense for Microsoft to own Activision Blizzard and not put Call of Duty on every platform. And I think Activision own all three studios that make Call of Duty? Because it's Activision, Infinity Ward, and it's
I
Sledgehammer.
I if I'm not mistaken, Affinity Ward would be under that umbrella.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I haven't I remember reading that a while back, and I don't remember.
Yeah. That's
But
why we get a new Call of Duty game every year because there's three different
yeah,
studios that work
I
on it.
mean, it's basically the EA of shooters. I mean,
Yes,
really, at
sort of.
this
Yeah,
point,
that's a
I
pretty good
mean, they,
point.
they basically put the
That's a pretty
2K
good
out
point.
every year.
Yeah.
COD is 2K.
COD 2K,
COD
Call of Duty
2K.
2024. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah. So I think that one of the things that kind of put Xbox also over the top for me was that all these new games that are coming out that are like these big bangers, you can play them on Game Pass for free if you have a Game Pass.
And
That's pretty big.
kind of the shade that was thrown during the showcase. As soon as Sony dropped their showcase, and everybody's like, "Man, that was actually pretty good. Spider-Man 2 looks great." Freaking Xbox on their IG literally puts like, "Hey, that was a great showcase. Just to let everybody know, all these games will be on Xbox." And literally, it was the entire
It
showcase
was,
from
except for
Sony,
Spider Man.
except for
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
except for
It was
Spider Man.
every damn game
Yeah,
except for
Spider
Spider-Man.
Man.
And no, I don't know if Metal Gear is going.
I don't
I
know
don't
either.
think
That's a
so.
great
It
question.
might. I don't think so. I think it may just be Spider-Man and Metal Gear that are. I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and look because it was on
Yeah,
there.
I think that's the case. I was kind of hoping that we would see some more gameplay from some of their other exclusives, like the new Death Stranding. I would
Yes.
have liked to see some gameplay from that. As well, they had some other games I think from their last showcase that I was like, huh, or the new Wolverine game or whatever is it.
Oh,
I would
I've
like
been
to see
wanting to
some
see
gameplay of
gameplay
that.
for that.
I think that they could have definitely showed more, even if it's just more trailers for some of their bigger exclusives. I think they would have definitely taken, they would have taken it from Xbox there. But lastly, but I still 8 out of 10 for Xbox. I think I give them a nod over
Yeah.
PlayStation. And for this round, but
Metal Gear is PlayStation.
PlayStation, okay.
Yeah.
And then lastly, just recently we had a Nintendo Direct. That
It was.
it was
I
good.
mean, yeah. I mean,
It was good.
I I probably give it a 6 or 7. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, look, the games that they had were great, right? Like Mario RPG, awesome. Like that's a banger. And then what was the other Mario game?
So it's Super Mario Wonder.
Yes, Super Mario Wonder.
Um,
And then what we had Metal Gear got announced, the
mhm.
collection one, which I was like,
Oh
bing!
sure.
I was like, ooh, that looks good. But I don't know if that's digital only or physical.
I don't know. The interesting thing about Nintendo is as much as I'm doing all these remakes, whoever works at Nintendo that's in charge of doing the remakes, that person needs a raise because I gripe about Nintendo doing remakes all the time, and then as soon as I see a remake, I throw my wallet at it because I'm like, oh my god, I need that. Super Mario RPG, what a great game to remake. That game is a classic. Even though I've beaten that game multiple times on the Super Nintendo, I'm still going to pick it up and play through it. It's such a great game. Highly recommend. And I think what Nintendo does is they find these games that people may have missed on their original console, and then
Yeah,
they give you a
yeah.
reason. Because a lot of people maybe don't want to go back and play Super Nintendo games, and they don't have a Super Nintendo. They don't like the controller or the graphics or what have you. Now that they give you some of these like classic games like this to go back and play in a different way, and Super Mario RPG is an amazing game. Looks great. Um, it was a very charming game back in the day. I thought it looked really good. Not a big Pokemon fan, but if you are, a lot of the Pokemon stuff looked really good for people who play Pokemon. Um, I play Pokemon, but I'm not super into it like some people that I know. So
Pikachu
um,
Returns. Nah, it's not
I
my
I
thing.
was not a big fan of that, but I was really excited about this, the Metal Gear Solid collection for the Nintendo Switch. It's good to see those games finally coming to the Switch. Great, all three of those games are great. I thought the whole package that you get, everything included, is really a
It
good
was a
value
solid
for the
value.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
New amiibos for Zelda. I thought was pretty cool.
what? Another
New
one?
new amiibos for Zelda. There's more amiibos coming
Hmm.
for Zelda.
Okay, cool.
You were gonna say something about Metal Gear?
I just want it to be physical.
Yeah, I think that they will get a physical release. It may be someone like Limited Run that does it, but I think that it'll get a physical release for sure. I, WarioWare, I mean, personally, I
Pass,
didn't care much for that.
pass.
Um,
Pikmin. Ugh, I'm not a Pikmin fan, so I
but
need.
Pikmin has a huge following,
Oh, I know.
so
I
this
know.
was a huge deal for everyone who loves Pikmin. So that's what I'm judging it on. Like, yeah, I'm doing it a little bit on my own personal taste, but I'm trying to think about like the audience as a whole. And so for Pikmin fans, like this is massive. And the Pikmin's being remastered, and they dropped that day for Pikmin 1 and 2, which is pretty crazy. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet getting expansions.
What? How did I miss that?
They're getting expansions, yeah.
Wow.
Um, hopefully they're gonna fix some of the bugs if they
I
haven't
would, I
already.
would, I would hope so.
Um,
'Cause, ugh.
I thought this was pretty cool. Mario Kart 8 getting a lot more tracks. So what they're doing with Mario Kart now is they're just updating Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with a lot of your favorite tracks from like old games and old characters to really make kind of one like definitive Mario Kart experience. And I really thought the tracks they were adding and the characters were pretty cool for Mario Kart. Um, for sure.
Luigi's Mansion. That kind of
Luigi's
started us
Mansion.
off. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, looks good. The Princess Peach getting her own game, I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I mean, Nintendo's pretty good about like making games about popular Nintendo characters and them end up being really good. Like Luigi's Mansion was good. Even like Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker was a lot of fun. I played the crap out of that game. So you know what? I know you probably never heard of this game, but I was super stoked about this.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about this when it popped up. I had never had any
I play
experience.
this a lot on my Steam Deck. It's one of the games the most games I play the most on my Steam Deck is this.
Huh.
It's just mindless fun. Um, so I thought this was pretty cool, and it's getting couch co-op,
Interesting.
which I thought was really cool. I I love Dragon Quest, so I was excited about this. Dragon Quest. Well, I say I love Dragon Quest. I wasn't really a big Dragon Quest person until I played Dragon Quest 11, and that made me like. I was like, how have I been missing these games for all these years? Oh my gosh! But this looked pretty good. I thought. This looks amazing too.
Yep.
Sonic. I thought this looked really good.
I just didn't like the price.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about the price
Like,
also.
damn,
So
70 ducats, y'all?
$70. But I mean, I think what Nintendo was doing is they're just following suit from Sony and Microsoft. Sony and Microsoft charging $70 are like they're looking at their games going, our games are a lot better than these games people are paying $70 for. Why not?
Yeah.
And people bought Zelda.
I'm
I
gonna
mean, they
be
bought the crap out of it.
well, it's because it's Zelda,
Because it's Zelda,
right?
yeah, for
Right.
sure.
You know, you're putting your flagship games out. Not, I didn't say that was just a lisp. That was a lisp. My braces are in. Okay, calm down, calm down. You're putting your flagship games out. Yes, I can
Yeah.
completely understand $70, but Sonic. Don't get me wrong, Sonic is a great game. This game looks phenomenal. It is not $70 phenomenal for me to buy. Just me personally.
Yeah.
There might be other folks out there that disagree, but I'm like,
There's gonna be a decent amount of content for it
I'd
to
have
be
been
70.
like $40. Yeah, I'll drop
Yeah.
that easy.
I think it really just depends on the amount of content, and I'm pretty sure that the reviewers will probably definitely, let us know if it's enough content for your buck. This I was very surprised about.
I was too.
Um,
It
I wasn't excited, but I was surprised. I mean,
it
I play
looked
these
good.
games.
I
They
mean,
look
I
good.
played. It looks good on the Switch. Surprise. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, that's just the the main.
yeah. I mean, they're older games, but I do feel like people that are primarily Nintendo folks, this is going to be great for them to finally be able to play these games. One of these actually was on the Wii U, so I think it's just the other two. I think it's Batman. I think it's Arkham Asylum was on
Yeah,
the Wii U.
Arkham Asylum. Yeah,
Um, yeah, buddy. I was like, I was like piano clapping for this.
I'm so
I played this
upset.
on the PlayStation One, so this is one that I'm giving Nintendo high marks for personal selfish reasons. I love this
You
game
know
on the
what?
PlayStation.
I probably need to bump my score up just for this game because
Yeah, I was like, okay, you know what?
I'm gonna take it from my 6 to 7 to an 8.5. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because I completely spaced. I literally just talked about this earlier in the
Yeah,
podcast
I
this
was
evening.
like, wait, what? Y'all, this is what y'all doing? And I love that they're using kind of the Octopath Traveler art style for it.
I'm mad. I can't get a collector's edition though.
I know, dude. I should have jumped on that. I kind of messed up.
It's so bad too now because a lot of these companies, when there's like, yo, it's collector's edition, before in the past, there was plenty of collector's editions to go about. They just went based off of the order. But now a lot of publishers now are saying like, hey, it's limited quantity, so get it
Yep.
when you can get it. Like MK1, Mortal Kombat 1 was that. Like it was gone
Yeah.
the day it dropped, and then everybody else was dropping the following day, and then they were sold out. Like the collector's edition for that game is completely gone. Star Ocean was up, it was gone, and then they put put it back up today for the standard edition, but the collector's edition is gone. I would have loved to have gotten
Mm,
a collector's
yeah.
edition for, I don't know. I was trying to decide what console I wanted it for.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. That's interesting. Because my first thought was instantly Switch, but I'm like, man, for the nostalgia, I kind of want to get it on PlayStation.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was at. I was like, man, do I get it on PlayStation 4? Do I get it on PlayStation 5?
I probably this may be one of those games I ended up getting two copies of. Like, I probably play the PS5 version and then just have the Switch version for my Switch collection. I may do that. It really depends on the price point, but I
Well,
was very excited
it's
about this.
priced. Well, the standard price was like $50, but
I pay $50 for this game. I'd pay 70 for
yeah,
this
yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I'd pay
mean,
70
like
for it.
50 was fine. Like I was perfectly fine with the price, but it was just the fact that I didn't even get an option to do the collector's
Mm,
edition.
yeah.
Like literally, if you watch the showcases the day of and they talk about that there's going to be a collector's edition, you literally need to be on the site as soon
Yep.
as that segment is off the screen and it goes up on the site. You need to have your money and card ready to go these days because
Yeah.
there's just so many more collectors out there now. It just seems like.
Yep. And one thing that I will tell you is when you're watching this stuff and you're wanting to get a collector's edition, there's a Twitter account called Wario64. Definitely follow that guy on Twitter. As soon as something goes on sale, he tweets about it. And like the only notifications I get from Twitter are from him. I was able to get so many things because of that Twitter account. So definitely follow them. Wario64. I thought this. I'm not a big Persona guy, but I thought this looked interesting. Persona
Yeah,
5 Tactics kind of
yeah.
reminds me of Final Fantasy Tactics in a way.
I mean, it was revealed on Xbox, so it wasn't
That's
really like.
very true. Yeah. Even says here, following its reveal of the Xbox showcase. I kind of want to play this. I thought this was interesting. It's a multiplayer roguelite. It's first person. So kind of
Hmm.
like Hades or Dead Cells, kind of. It's first person. It's
Oh,
co-opable. I thought
okay.
this looked kind of cool. I thought the art style was neat. So I think I may check this out when it
Hmm.
comes out. Um, Mario Rabbids. This is a game that I've been wanting to play. I just never have played it, but people who have played it rave about it. So maybe someday. But the DLC, it's kind of hard for me to judge it because I've never played the game or I don't really know much about it. So I didn't have much to say about that. Splatoon, the Splatoon Splatfest is pretty standard fare. They have these pretty regularly, so this wasn't really anything to really write home about.
Mm-mm.
Good for Splatoon players if you enjoy Splatoon. It's a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Just Dance. I don't
Now
care
it's
about Just Dance.
the 7,000th dance game, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like the last game they made for the Wii was a Dance Revolution game, and it was in like 2019. They were still making it for like the Wii. I was like, what? Uh, this looked okay. It kind of reminded me of like my time at Porsche, kind of one of those
Hmm.
Harvest Moon Sims, which I feel like that market's getting a little saturated. So I
Yeah,
was kind of surprised that they were still doing this. Um, I like a good platformer, so I thought this looked interesting. It does look kind of art style's kind of weird, but it's kind of one of those. I wasn't mad. I wasn't like, this looks like trash, but I wasn't super excited. But if it's a game that ever goes on sale, I may pick it up because it looks like a pretty good platformer.
hmm, hmm.
Again, more farm sim stuff. I really think that we should probably take a break from that for a while.
All that.
This I thought was interesting. It's an RPG where like all of your characters are like silent protagonists. Um,
Yeah, it didn't do nothing for me. Like a lot of these didn't like little trinket stuff and the knickknack kind of games.
yeah,
They just don't do it for me. They just
yeah.
don't.
This being a battle royal was weird. Um, so I thought this was awesome. So Gloomhaven, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons in a box. It's a board game. That's where I first played it. It's like a card-based board game with like tons of different adventures, just pre-made adventures you can go on. And there is a version of this for like on Epic Games and maybe on Steam. So I was really surprised to see this come to Switch. With some, I think they even had some extra features on the Switch. So I was pleasantly surprised that they were bringing this to the Switch. Um, this seems kind of like a party game. I mean, I was kind of meh, like whatever about it. I mean, doesn't look terrible, doesn't look great. I was kind of like, eh,
I clearly wasn't paying too much attention to
yeah.
this showcase because I don't remember 60% of these games.
I actually don't remember this, so I don't remember seeing this.
I don't remember
Maybe
seeing that
I
either.
wasn't paying attention either. But the big thing, which I'm surprised they didn't say anything about, was definitely going to be Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
It's at the very
That
beginning. It's right there.
oh
Look.
yeah, I'm tripping. Sorry about that. But to me, this combined with some of the other things that we talked about, I personally, I gave Nintendo like an 8.5. I personally think of the three showcases, Nintendo won this one of all three. Personally, you
So
know,
you're ranking what? Nintendo, Xbox,
Xbox
Sony?
and then Sony. Yeah, of
Wow.
this showcase, who knows of these three showcases since they were
Well,
so close together. But
I will say I agree. Like
yeah,
my grading changed because I was only thinking of like one or two games, and I was like, wait, I'm losing my mind. There was like 5 games from
yeah,
Nintendo that I'm like, okay, I want copies of all of those.
right,
I plan on playing
yeah,
all of those.
yep,
Um, yeah, so I mean, literally, Nintendo had the most games that that I wanted to purchase
right,
out of every showcase. Collectively, between Xbox and PlayStation, it took both of those showcases collectively together for them to add up to the amount of games that Nintendo put out that I actually want to buy.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that is a clear line and winner. Yay, yay, ding, ding,
yep,
yay! Winner
yeah.
goes to Nintendo.
Nintendo. I definitely think they won. Now, granted, I think that we've talked about each showcase and what would have put it over the top. If
Mhm.
Sony would have shown um, like Wolverine or some other gameplay, and I think Xbox. I forgot what we said about Xbox. If Xbox would have revealed some more storage upgrades for the Series X,
I think
I
that would have
think that
been
would have
helpful. That'd
been
have been
really
good.
good.
That'd have been nice.
Um, for PlayStation, I think, or not PlayStation, sorry, for Nintendo, I think what would have just sent them completely over the top to the moon was Metroid Prime 4 gameplay. Um,
Or even what was it? Oh my god. What's the other game? Oh,
I don't know.
Chrono. Yeah.
Oh, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that maybe with that they were going to bring it to Nintendo Switch Online. Maybe that's what I was
Okay.
thinking they would maybe do. The Chrono Trigger remake thing has been kind of a meme for a lot of years. It was kind of like the Final Fantasy VII remake thing. Like that was people talked about it for 12 years until they finally decided to do it. So, but I don't know if I would want a remake of Chrono Trigger. I know as crazy as that sounds, I feel like that game is just perfect the way it is. But
There's certain game there are certain games out there that you don't need to remake.
just I think it's good. So
Like certain movies don't need to be
mm,
remade.
bruh,
The first one is the
that's
best.
a whole episode.
I know.
I feel like oh bruh, oh my gosh.
Don't get him started, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm.
Don't get him started.
You're lucky I left my soapbox in the other room because I'd
Oh
be standing
shoot.
on it right now. Like, yeah.
Oh shoot.
But Super Mario Wonder, it's not often that we get the last 2D Mario game we got was in 2012 on the Wii U. And the last mainline Mario game we got was 5 years ago. No, 6 years ago.
Okay.
Because it was Mario Odyssey. So a new Mario game is a big deal. Which it just adds another major franchise getting another game this year because this drops in October. Mario
I,
Wonder does.
my question here is that should I be pre-ordering now? There's going to be plenty of copies, but
There will be.
the way people are talking, well, you know what? So, are we talking about Wonder or RPG? Let me start there.
Oh yeah, so Wonder. There's gonna be plenty of copies of. It's a mainline Mario game.
RPG then.
Since it's a remake, I think it'll be decently available. I was able to pre-order a copy easily at Best Buy, no problems, no
Oh,
wait,
so
no
you
line.
already pre-ordered one.
I pre-ordered a physical copy because I thought maybe it might be limited, but that doesn't look like it will be. Um, but Mario does not tend to get any kind of collector's edition, really. So I wouldn't really look for that for Mario Wonder. Who knows? I could be 100% wrong.
There
Um,
were people asking. I was reading some comments like, "Is there a collector's edition?" Like they don't. Yeah, I think now that you kind of said that, I don't ever remember there being a Mario collector. Now, there's a collector's edition for Mario for either one of these.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
would be
wrap.
pretty dope. That would be pretty dope for sure. But I think that part of me thinks that they kind of learned their lesson with like you remember the whole debacle with 3D All Stars remake or not remake, but
Oh,
they it was like a limited like quantity of them, so people started scalping them. You can still kind of find them now, but
for a
they
lot of
kind of
money.
yeah yeah
I mean, there's folks
um
on eBay selling them for a G.
which is crazy to me. I mean, I have a copy because I pre-ordered it as soon as
Well,
they
it's
announced it.
sealed.
Oh, for still one, yeah, mine is
Yeah.
not sealed. I played the heck out of that thing.
I thought I
But
had that game, but I don't. I went and
yeah,
looked at my Switch collect. I was like, damn, I don't have this game.
pretty good value. I wish they would have included Super Mario Galaxy 2, but what can you do? But yeah, overall, I think the Nintendo took this one. Like I said, would have liked to have seen Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid been a
Um,
good. That'd have been good ad. That would
my
have just
goodness.
complete that. Metroid in there. If they'd have bumped Metroid in there, easy 9.5.
Yeah. All right, man. We've been at it for a while, so I think we could probably wrap this one up. A lot of good conversation. So,
It
man,
was a
where can
good
they
one.
find you? Where can they find you? Where are you located?
Man, y'all know me. Y'all know where to find me. Retro Neo Ness, your boy with the Neo Geo collection behind me, stacking it up and still broke as a joke. You can find me on IG. I post all my latest pickups, little snips and snippets and stuff like that. And also, you can find me Retro Neo Ness on YouTube. Try to drop new videos twice a month. I'm trying to move that up to the good old Wednesday nights or Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday day, just Wednesday in general. I'm gonna start dropping a video every week, so be on the lookout for those.
Very nice. And you can find me on pretty much Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok as Zelda Hat Guy. I'm also on Twitch every now and again. So definitely come and check me out if you get a chance. Yeah, man, this has been another exciting episode of Saved by the Game, and we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.